January 23, 1959. A group of 10 young, vibrant students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute began a journey that was supposed to be a triumph of endurance and friendship. Their goal was to reach Mount Otorten, a peak in the northern Urals. In the Soviet Union, high-altitude hiking was more than a hobby. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant 23-year-old engineer, led the team. They were the best of the best, experienced, disciplined, and prepared for the brutal Siberian winter. The group spent their first few days singing songs, sharing jokes, and documenting their journey with black and white cameras. Their diaries were filled with excitement, detailing the beauty of the snow-covered pines and the biting cold that they laughed off. On January 28th, Yuri Yudin, one of the hikers, fell ill with a chronic nerve condition. He was forced to turn back. As he hugged his friends for the last time, he didn't know he was hugging ghosts. The remaining 9, 7 men and 2 women, marched deeper into the wilderness. The last entry in their collective diary was dated January 31st. After that, the mountain went silent. On February 1st, the group began to move through the pass. A sudden blizzard obscured their vision and they drifted off course. Instead of finding shelter in the forest below, they pitched their tent on the exposed, treeless slope of Kholat Syakhl, a name the local Mansi people translates as the Dead Mountain. Why did they stop there? Why expose themselves to the full fury of the wind on a barren slope? It was an uncharacteristic mistake for hikers of their caliber. That night, something happened inside that tent. Something so sudden and so terrifying that there was no time to unlace their boots or grab their coats. Investigators later found that the tent had been slashed from the inside, not once, but several times. They were desperate to get out. They fled into the darkness in temperatures reaching -30 degrees Celsius. Imagine the sheer terror required to make someone run barefoot into a Siberian blizzard. They weren't just fleeing the cold, they were fleeing something inside or above them. By late February, when no telegram arrived from the group, the search began. It started with students and soon involved the Soviet military, planes, and helicopters. On February 26th, searchers found the tent. It was collapsed and half buried in snow, but the belongings inside were undisturbed. 9 pairs of boots were still there. Their money, their food, and their maps remained untouched. The searchers followed a trail of footprints leading down towards the forest. These weren't the tracks of people walking together. They were the scattered prints of people running for their lives. A mile away, near a massive ancient cedar tree, the first 2 bodies were found: Georgy Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko. They were dressed only in their underwear, their hands raw and burned. Above them, the cedar's branches were snapped up to 5 meters high. It appeared they had climbed the tree in a desperate attempt to see something or to hide from something on the ground. 3 more bodies, including Igor Dyatlov, were found scattered between the tree and the tent. They died in poses that suggested they were trying to crawl back to the tent, back to their only hope of survival. But the cold claimed them first. It took another 2 months to find the rest of the group. As the spring sun began to melt the thick snow, searchers followed a trail into a nearby ravine. There, buried under 4 meters of ice, lay the final 4 hikers. And this is where the mystery takes a dark, violent turn. Unlike the first 5 who died of hypothermia, these 4 had suffered horrific injuries. Nikolai Thibaut Brignoles had a fractured skull. Semen Zolotarev and Ludmila Dubinina had massive chest fractures, their ribs crushed inward as if by a force equivalent to a high-speed car crash. Yet strangely, there were no external bruises or soft tissue damage. Even more disturbing were the soft tissue mutilations. Dubinina was missing her tongue, her eyes, and part of her facial tissue. The autopsy was conducted in secret. The lead investigator, Lev Ivanov, noticed something else. Their clothing was highly radioactive. What kind of force can crush a human rib cage without leaving a bruise? And where did the radiation come from in the middle of a remote mountain range? The Soviet government quickly closed the case, stating the hikers died due to a compelling unknown force. This vague conclusion fueled decades of conspiracy theories. Was it a secret military test? Some believe the group wandered into a forbidden zone where the Soviet military was testing parachute mines or infrasound weapons. Infrasound, caused by specific wind patterns, can trigger intense panic and physical pain in humans, possibly explaining the frantic flight from the tent. Then there are the orange orbs. Other hiking groups in the area reported seeing strange glowing spheres in the sky on the night the group died. Were these UFOs or Soviet missiles? Others looked to the local legends of the Menk, a Siberian Yeti. The Mansi people had long warned that the mountain was cursed, and some found the missing tongue and eyes to be ritualistic in nature. In 2020, a new Russian investigation suggested a small slab avalanche. They argued that a small slide of heavy snow crushed the hikers in their sleep, forcing them out. But critics point out that the slope was too shallow for such an avalanche, and it doesn't explain the radiation, the missing clothes, or the strange lights in the sky. 67 years have passed, but the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains the ultimate cold case. The mountain has become a place of pilgrimage for those seeking the truth, yet more we learn, the less we understand. We are left with the haunting images of 9 smiling faces frozen in time on a roll of 35mm film. Was it a tragic natural accident, or did they witness something the world was never meant to see? The monument at the pass stands as a silent witness to their final moments. As the wind screams across the slopes of Kholat Syakh, it carries the same terrifying chill that met Igor Dyatlov and his friends in 1959. The mountain of the dead keeps its secrets well. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Perhaps the truth is still out there, buried deep beneath the ice and the silence of the Urals. Rest in peace, adventurers. The world will never forget your names.